Hello, Burnt Ranch educators, Mr. Brown here, and I made a general follow-up video. I made a follow-up video for the 7th and 8th graders. I want to make one for you as well, because I think we had a great time doing your professional development. And ultimately, my goal was this, to help you connect with each other, connect with the message, and grow as a team. So I thought our time was great together. Thank you for participating and being in the professional development. Now, hopefully you're watching this video during a staff meeting, so you can have a discussion. And sometimes we get so busy, we don't get a chance to reflect on what we've learned and to follow up. But same thing with the kids. I want to just go over a couple of things we talked about, and maybe you can talk about them some more in your time together, and maybe figure out, hey, what jumped out to you? What can you reflect on a little bit more? So we talked about this idea of responding versus reacting. I love that numbers locked in game, right? And I have this little quote that says this: your influence grows when you learn to respond instead of react. Just think about that. Will your influence grow when you learn to respond versus reacting? Think about that. Second thing, we talked about this idea of respect and modeling respect. We're modeling what we want to see. Respect is taught through rules, but it's caught through example. Respect can be taught through rules. We have certain rules and guidelines, and we have a society. Here's some rules, and we learn how to follow those rules, how to line up, how to say please and thank you, or manners. But it's really caught through example. When I saw my grandfather doing the things he was telling me to do, saw my mom showing up to work every day and being respectful, I caught more of that than I did just to list the rules. So think about that when it comes to how do we teach respect in our classroom and homes. Yes, we got to teach it. We also need to model it. We also talked about building bridges instead of barriers. And we talked about the use of sarcasm. And I know through the conversation, we talked about the idea that we have to know our student, our audience, but sometimes I think we use sarcasm and it doesn't bring about the results we want it to bring about. I know we talked about this idea about connection before content, but think about this when it comes to discipline. Connection before correction. That's harder to say, right? Connection before correction. To make sure that we're making connection with students, even in that moment, before we try to correct them. Now, sometimes you gotta jump to and correct them right away, and hopefully we made a connection in the past. We put some money in the bank so we can make some withdrawals. But even in that moment, is there a way I can connect with a student before I correct them? I remember being at the YMCA one day, and that day I just wanted to be there. I didn't want to be talking to people. I just wanted to work out. So I put my hood on, and I was on the bike, riding the bicycle. Next thing I know, I look over, see these kids come in there, and they're not supposed to be in there. They didn't want kids unsupervised, especially young kids that they were. And they were getting on different machines, laughing and stuff. And I looked around like, man, some adults should say something. Like, some adults should step up and tell these kids they shouldn't be in here. And I thought, I am an adult. So I said something to them. But before I just yelled at them, hey, get out of here, kids. I said, hey, what's your name? You know, you guys like come to the Y? Let me ask you a question. Are you supposed to be in here? They were like, no. Well, you probably should leave. That you should be in here. But I hope you guys really enjoy the rest of your time at the Y, right? So I tried to make connection with them because they knew who I was before I corrected them, relate with them. We also talked about ownership and empowerment for students, how we can help them to take ownership of their own lives. We want to help students to grow up without giving up. We want to help them grow up without giving up. I talked about my son who's putting those Crunch Lab crates together. Those Mark Rober Crunch Lab crates. He used to do it with his sister Sophia, and she kind of took the lead, but now she's on to another set of boxes that they offer, and he's on his own. And he wants to do it on his own, but he also wants help. And sometimes we all have to watch him struggle, ask him for help, say, no, son, I want you to learn to do it yourself. But when he completes it himself, he has so much pride and joy. He just did one last weekend. So excited that he did it himself, and I'm happy too, because I want to step in and be the dad. I want to be the hero, right? I want to be the hero. Yeah, you need me, don't you? But he also needs me to help build him up, to grow up without giving up. I know we talked a lot about the kids and how we can apply these truths to kids, either responding versus reacting, but also you as a team. And I want to talk about this really quickly, that conflict is not your enemy. Conflict's not the enemy. Avoiding it is. Healthy teams don't avoid conflict, they navigate it. Ooh, that was really good. Healthy teams don't avoid conflict, they navigate it. Learning how to navigate conflict, which will come as a part of life. Learning's gonna happen in your personal life, in your marriage life, relationship life, with students, with kids, whoever, you're gonna have conflict. And the problem is we try to avoid it. Like, I grew up here and never talk about politics, religion, right? That hasn't served us well, because now we've never learned how to navigate it in a way that shows respect for each other, even when we disagree. Because I believe this, we can agree to disagree, but commit to cooperate and commit to decency at the same time. If someone brings something to me that kind of rubs me the wrong way, instead of reacting to it, I need to respond by simply saying, let me sit with that. Let me sit with that. Let me think about that, and let's come back together and talk about it when I'm not at a level 10 because I'm offended, but I'm more at a level 3, maybe 4 or 5. I know we covered a lot of content, and maybe this can be a way you can refresh some of it and talk together. And I really, really enjoyed watching you all talk with each other, interact with each other, even talk about things you didn't plan on talking about, because that's how a team can grow together. So hopefully my visits were beneficial. Hopefully this video is beneficial to you. Hopefully all of this will help you as an individual and as a team make better choices to live a better life. So thank you for your partnership, and I hope we can do some things in the future, whether by video or in person, because I don't mind coming to the Burt Ranch. It's pretty fun up there. With that said, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!